Hello, I'm Bill Jones. I'm with recapturefederalism.com. This is part 3, doing an ongoing series of the enslavement of the American people. And this is part 3. We're going to talk about something, a lot of things going on in the United States today. The IRS, the Benghazi, reporters things, the AP and the James Rosen Fox, not very nice things that are happening. It's not an accident, by the way. No, it's not an accident. First of all, I'm not going to talk about scandals. Almost never is, quote, a scandal. Criminal activity. And I hear people talking, seeing, bloggers, and I've done it in the past too. We need to impeach the president for treason. Well, we're going to talk about it because right there, we're going to talk about treason. It's a serious claim to be made. Treason is punishable by death. That's how serious it is. It's serious. I'm going to talk about it, though. It's criminal activity. You can go online. That's what I did. I went to the U.S. House, and you can get copies of any one of the U.S. codes, USC. You ever hear somebody say USC? They're talking about USC, United States Criminal Codes. And then there's commercial codes, which is something else too, and you go over there and you find out about things. This is, I went there and made a copy of this. Title 18, USC, Chapter 115, Treason, Sedition, and Subversive Activities. Okay, been around for quite some time. Been modified quite a few times. I think most of them go back all the way back to the early progressive days around the turn of the 20th century. I think they make reference in here to the original one. The original code was in 1909. Okay, so there have been some changes, a lot of changes with communist activity and what have you, World War II and right after World War II. In the Rosenberg and things like that, they did a lot of changes, and they've done some since then through the 90s, what have you. But this is the chapter, okay? And you have chapter 115, and it spells out what the different things are. Chapter 15, as I said, treason, sedition, and subversive activities. And then you have section 2381, which is treason itself. 2382, which is misprision of treason, and we'll get into that. 2383 is rebellion or insurrection. 2385, we'll get into that big time. It is, 2384, we'll get into big time, and 2385. 2384 is seditious conspiracy. That's more than two people. 2385 is advocating the overthrow of the government. 2386 is registration of certain organizations. Won't get into that too much. Then we have some 2387, 88, 89, and 2390 have to do with the military. Enlistments and recruiting and other services against our military. Let's go down to treason. 2381. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States, somebody makes an oath, let's say a public official makes an oath to the United States, okay, that's what we're talking about, or common citizens, levies war against them or adheres to their enemies giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall suffer be in prison not less than 5 years and fined under this title but not less than $10,000 and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. So, we have someone who is supposed to have allegiance to the United States has allegiance to the enemies, or adheres to their enemies. Now that means, could be, if you look at it, adhering to their ideology and bringing it in here, which is it's unconstitutional, un-American, and what have you. In part 2, I talked about adhering to ideologies, what have you, bringing that in. And foreign ideologies don't fit in with us, never have, never will. They don't work to start out with, and we don't want them to be a failure here because it will destroy us economically, politically, what have you. Then we have 2382, which Miss Treason, supposed to be a French word, I guess, originally, of treason, and that is whoever owing allegiance to the United States and having knowledge of the commission of any treason against them, conceals and does not, as soon as may be, disclose and make known the same to the President or to some judge of the United States or to the governor or some judge or justice of a particular state, is guilty of misprision of treason and shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 7 years. So if you know somebody that's committing treason, you're aware, especially if you're to have sworn oath, and you're aware of it, and you don't tell anybody, you don't take action and notify a judge or the President of the United States. I would suggest the judge if the problem is with the President and Vice President. Okay? Should be aware of it. So if there's a problem, if let's say a hypothetical at Benghazi, which may not be much of a hypothetical, but let's say a hypothetical at, let's say, Benghazi, and public officials were aware of treasonous action that was occurring there, they could be charged. Maybe they're not only they didn't say anything, but maybe they're part of the treason too. And we'll get into that because that's farther on down. That's part of the conspiracy. Now, that was 2382. 2383 is rebellion or insurrection. Whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Now, it's adhering to another ideology, and then, let's say, dealing with like minds about that particular ideology, i.e., Marxism or any with its subcategories, socialism, communism, progressiveness, and I'll argue that point, and progressiveness is a form of Marxism. You know, maybe a public official will say to, let's say, Medved, you know, when I get elected again, I'll be more flexible. And I know I'm going to be elected again because, you know, I got the IRS working. I mean, we're zipping citizens so they don't will reduce the probability they'll be able to work up a offense against me. Yeah, that could happen, huh? You think so? Then we go 2384. This is the one I love. Okay? Seditious conspiracy. And what is that? If two or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force or seize, take, or possess any property of the United States, contrary to the authority thereof, shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years, or both. Now, first thing I want to say, understand something. When we talk about the government of the United States, we're not talking about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, two-party system. They are not the government. The government is we the people of the United States, we the people of an individual state, which is a constitutional republic. The people, okay, are the government. Elected officials, individually, are representatives. The ones that are elected are representatives and are supposed to be following the consent of the people, who is the government. Then there are employees, and they're supposed to be working for the government, which is the people, including those ISR agents and clerks or whatever they are out there doing their dirty. Okay? Now I wonder if they're conspiring also. People getting together and they're conspiring to get this individual elected who's adhering to some foreign ideologies. Then we have 2385, which is advocating the overthrow of government. It's not just the representatives and employees of government. Overthrowing the people, okay? Important. Whoever knowingly or willfully advocates, abets, advises, or teaches the duty, necessity, desirability, or propriety of overthrowing or destroying the government of the United States, that's the people, or the government of any state, territory, or district, or possession thereof, that's still the people, or the government of any political subdivision herein by force or violence, or by assassination of any officer or any such government. Okay? So you have people coming in here at the Boston Marathon. What were they doing? They were assassinating individuals. The government. People. Okay? There were police officers killed, but not at the Boston Marathon. It was just ordinary, everyday people enjoying life. Enemies of the people came in and killed them. Whoever with intent to cause the overthrow or destruction of any such government prints, publishes, edits, issues, circulates, sells, distributes, or publicly displays any written or printed matter advocating, advising, or teaching the duty, necessity, and desirability or propriety of overthrowing or destroying any government in the United States by force or violence or attempts to do so. And when they say any government, they've talked about states too. United States, an individual, independent, sovereign, constitutional republics, 50 of them, And they goes on. Shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both, and shall be ineligible or for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for 5 years next following his conviction. If 2 or more persons conspire to commit any offense named in this section, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both, and shall be ineligible for the employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years next following his conviction. As used in this section, the terms organizes and organize with respect to any society, group, or assembly of persons include the recruiting of new members, the forming of new units, and the regrouping or expansion of existing clubs, classes, and other units of such society, group, or assembly of persons. That covers a lot of people. My recommendation, my suggestion would be that the leadership in Congress select an independent counsel and look at this entire matter about treason and sedition. And it would include these other, quote, scandals, which are really crimes. Not only looking at the president and vice president, looking at the congressional leadership and public officials and all of these other possible criminal activities in the IRS, Benghazi, all over. This stuff's been going on for a long time. And what we need to do is just settle this all out and go back to having the best country in the world. Join me again for the next part. Should be part 4.